I've answered phones at a youth helpline every Tuesday night for 6 years. Nothing in the training prepares you for the call where you recognize the voice. 11 minutes in, the boy on the line mentioned his dog, Biscuit, and his grandpa's watch, the one he'd worn since March, and my whole body went cold. I was talking to my own grandson. Eli is 11. He called the line from a friend's house because he couldn't say any of it to someone with a face. He didn't know the volunteer on the other end had taught him to ride a bike, so he talked to a stranger the way he'd never talked to me. Flat, careful, older than 11. He said his stepdad had rules that changed depending on his mood. That dinner did too. That when he cried, he sat in the garage until he could act right. That last week, he'd been grabbed by the arm hard enough that he flinched now when anyone moved fast. Every rule of my training said stay calm, stay neutral, keep him talking. So I dug my nails into my palm and kept my voice level while my grandson told a stranger he was scared of his own house. Before he hung up, he said, "Thanks for listening. You're easy to talk to." I sat in the parking lot afterward and cried until the windows fogged. I did everything the manual says. I flagged the call to my supervisor that night. A report was filed. And then I learned how slow the official world moves when a scared kid goes quiet. A caseworker visited. Eli, with his stepfather 2 rooms away, said everything was fine. My daughter Rachel backed him up. Not lying, I think, but not looking either. Mark had a way of being charming in front of witnesses and cold everywhere else. The file stayed open. The house stayed his. So I did what grandmothers do. I started showing up. Sunday dinners at my place became mandatory. I framed it as missing everybody, and nobody argues with a woman holding a roast. For 3 weeks, I watched. I watched Eli eat like the plate might be taken. I watched him go completely still whenever Mark's voice changed. I watched Mark narrate every one of Eli's flaws to the table like a hobby, and I wrote all of it down. The 4th Sunday, Eli knocked over his water glass reaching for the bread. Ordinary kid stuff, but he froze with his hand in the air and looked at Mark first, before the water even finished spreading. And I watched my grandson brace. Mark's jaw tightened, and he said, "Lo, what did we talk about, bud?" And I was done waiting for the official world. I put down my napkin and said, "Eli, that phone call you made in October from Danny's house, about the garage, about the rules." His head snapped up. "That was me on the other end, sweetheart. Tuesday nights, that's my shift. You weren't talking to a stranger, and you're in my house right now where nothing happens to you. So you can say it out loud this time." The table went silent, and Mark did the one thing I could never have scripted. He unraveled in front of witnesses. He called someone. He was on his feet, pointing at an 11-year-old. "What did you tell them? You want to explain to your mother why you're spreading stories?" He reached for Eli's shoulder, and Eli ducked. Fast, practiced, like a boy who had done it before. And my daughter saw it. All of it. The reach, the duck, the rehearsed speed of her own son's fear. Rachel stood so fast her chair tipped and put herself between them. "Don't you touch my son." Mark kept talking about how hard he worked to fix what she'd raised, how someone had to be the discipline in that house, burying himself deeper with every sentence. I told him there was already an open case file with his name on it. He got very quiet, and then he got out. That night, Rachel added her statement to the report. Eli finally gave the whole thing in my kitchen, with Coco going cold in front of him and his mother holding his hand. There were consequences, real ones, and a protective order, and none of it was fast, but all of it happened. Eli and Rachel live with me now. He eats slow. He argues about bedtime like a normal kid, and the sound of it is my favorite music. Last month, he asked if he could volunteer at the helpline when he turned 16. I told him they'd be lucky to have him. Tuesdays, I said. The shift is Tuesdays.